What up guys, welcome back to another video. Today in this video we're going to be discussing the smart summon and just summon in general for the Tesla vehicles, as well as full self-driving, the monthly subscription, and the $10,000 one-time purchase that stays with the car. So let's get right into the video, and if you like this kind of stuff, please think about subscribing and hitting that like button. Oh, I almost forgot to mention that if you do want to buy a Tesla, there's a link down in the description. It'll give you and I both 1,000 free supercharger miles if you use the link to buy your car through that link. So it helps out the channel and it helps you get some free charging. So let's get into the video. Okay guys, so this is just the regular summon. Actually, this seems to work a lot better than the smart summon. So on the app itself, you'll just hit the forward button. And as you do that, it'll drive forward. It straightens out the steering wheel and it's now coming forward very slowly. So I'll get a little closer so you guys can see. You have to keep your hand pressed on the forward button in the app. But as you can see, the car is driving itself, nobody inside. It's not detecting me. If I stood in front of it, it would stop. But yes, it is moving slowly. So that's kind of cool if you're going to get it in or out of like a garage or a tight space. But as far as actually using this day to day, I don't think that I would use that so much. The smart summon is also kind of a gimmicky situation, but I will push that button. So sorry, it's super bright outside, of course, and I know how to do photography, but sometimes you just deal with what you got. So that little button in the middle, you would then hold that button and you'll see now it's going to say go to target, and you hit the go to target button. It's going to find where I'm at, and then the car is going to try to come to me. I've noticed that the smart summon, it actually does drive quite a bit faster than in the forward or backwards mode. But as you can see, the car got a little freaked out. The steering wheel is turning back and forth. It's not really sure. It's saying the summon is complete. I'm wanting to bring it closer still, so hitting go to target again, preparing summon. It flashes the lights and summon complete again. So, you know, it's, like I said, gimmicky, but really cool idea. If in the future it actually was to work better, that would be awesome. It's just right now they are still in beta phase. So as far as how much I would actually use this on a day-to-day basis, not very much. It's more just to show my friends, look, my car can drive itself for a second. But as far as using it for real practical purposes, it's not something that I'm currently using on a day-to-day basis. So now I'm going to take you guys for another drive, and this one I'm going to discuss the full self-driving and why I actually prefer to have the adaptive cruise control and not pay the $200 a month at this time. Okay guys, so now we're back in the car, and I had driven the car for a few weeks before the full self-driving subscription option came out, and when it did, I was pretty excited at first. I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna be able to, you know, put in a location and just let the car drive itself to that location. Well, I think once they get the city street update updated, that'll definitely, you know, change a lot of my feeling about this. But prior to having that, it does have what's called adaptive cruise control, where you basically double tap the stock and it will keep the car a certain distance from the car in front of you, as well as keep a speed to a certain speed as long as it has that distance from the car in front of you, and it will keep it within the lanes. Now I found that works great on the freeway, you know, going 50 miles an hour or whatever, 60, 80 miles an hour, although it does cap at 80 right now. As far as using that anytime in the city streets, or if you put the navigation in for full self-driving, it just, the city streets, it's not as good. So it needs some improvement still. It's still in the beta phase, kind of like the smart summon. So we're about to get onto the freeway right now, and I will put it in, it's in full self-driving. I did pay the full self-driving for 1 month, and I'm going to cancel it and just use the adaptive cruise control after this month is up. So let's get onto the freeway and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. One thing that does not get old in this car at all so far is being able to punch it, and it gives you a bit of power, the direct battery power situation that these cars have. is incredible. Obviously I'm in some traffic, but now we're gonna put it in full self-driving. Now full self-driving truly works if you put in an address so it knows where to navigate to. But basically I just double tap the stock. It makes that little noise. You can take your hands and feet off for a moment. It wants you to keep your hands on the wheel. I can adjust the speed to what I would like it to be. And now the car is driving itself. It will give you the blue lines on each side, and that shows that it's keeping you within the lane. If you have it in full self-driving with a destination and the navigation, then there will be a single blue line in the middle, basically, showing you on your way to whatever destination you're headed to. All right, so right now, we're kind of in some traffic. I'm going to put the blinker on for it to lane change. There it goes. It changed lanes on its own. That's something that full self-driving can do, but adaptive cruise control will not. So the only downside of that would be that you actually have to take the car out of your adaptive cruise control and then change your lane and then put it back in. So if that's something that would bother you, then maybe full self-driving is for you. But for me personally, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this works out as it is. So as you can see, it's keeping myself in the lanes, and I'm just sitting back chilling. I do have my eyes on the road, and you can use the scroll wheel up and down just once or twice for like the volume to let it know that you're still here and you're still alive. So let's change another lane. I'll show you guys from this view. So I put on my blinker. The car is changing the lane by itself. There it goes. I'm gonna have to get off the freeway and go back and turn around. So we're gonna put the blinker on again. So hit the blinker and boom, the car is changing lanes on its own. So if that is something that's worth $200 a month to be able to have the car change lanes for you, then absolutely it's worth it. It does a really good job. I have it in Mad Max mode. There is 3 different modes, and it will want to change lanes more often in the higher mode that you're in. I've found though that for me, like I said, I'm only driving about 15 to 20 miles a day, and I don't mind changing lanes myself if it comes up to it, if it comes down to it. So, and also I really like driving this car, so I will take it out of adaptive cruise control or full self-driving and drive it myself all the time. It's a really fun car to drive. Like I said, you do have a lot of power. The regenerative braking or the 1 foot driving, single foot driving is phenomenal. It's one of those things that you don't know how much you want to have it until you actually have it and go, oh wow, now it's hard. I go back to driving my wife's truck and it's just, I wish it was the Cybertruck. Which, by the way, if that ever does get produced at their Texas Gigafactory and comes to fruition, that's something I may end up giving her, this car, and then getting that car. I just love the whole Tesla brand. Yes, I'm a little bit of a fanboy. I've been somebody who's been really into Tesla for a long time, but finally got my first car, and now I see what all the hype is about. I mean, they're incredible. The cars are absolutely incredible. So we're kind of under a bridge right here, but as you can see, the screen's a lot better to see at nighttime when I'm trying to film it with a GoPro in one hand and drive with the other hand. But basically, in conclusion, I would say that just the whole full self-driving package has a bit of a ways to go. But once it gets there, I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. And I know that full autonomous driving is going to be where you can just basically get in the car and go, type in an address. There won't even be a need for a steering wheel. At that point, I think that'll be awesome. I'm glad to have one of the cars that's helping to make that happen. But at this point right now, the adaptive cruise control, where you just stay in the lanes, stay a certain distance from the car behind you, and keep your speed, is more than sufficient for the type of driving that I do. Now, once again, if I do go on another long road trip like I just did to Arizona, and I'm in the car for 6+ hours driving, it was nice just to be able to click to change lanes here and there. But on a day-to-day for me, it's just a little bit of overkill and not quite up to my standards as far as being able to do it on the streets. If I could do it on the city streets and just put in an address and go, that would definitely change the game. So guys, in conclusion, I definitely like having the full self-driving option, but for $200 a month and for what I'm getting extra at this point, it's just not worth it to me. The adaptive cruise control just works so good as it is. So once they get the city streets update and maybe get it out of beta, I'll definitely think about going back to the subscription model. With that said, if you guys are looking to get a Tesla, there's a link down below. We each get 1,000 free supercharger miles. If you're new to the channel, I make an electric bike and electric car content, and I would appreciate hitting the subscribe button, hitting the like button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.